Hello, I'm Arif Fahrudin. Welcome to Asian Agribiz Podcast. In this episode, our regional correspondent Meliana is speaking with Dr. Lihong Zhang and Dr. Kevin Liu, discussing how NIR can build value and profitability across the wheat value chain. Dr. Zhang is an NIR and analytical services specialist, while Dr. Liu is a vice president. Both are from Adiseo, Asia Pacific.
Accurate and consistent measurement is necessary to evaluate feed ingredients and assess the true value it offers end user. By accurately assessing nutrition profiles, a baseline for improvement can be set by nutritionists. Hi, good morning, Dr. Zhang and Dr. Kevin. Thank you for joining this podcast.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Dr. Zhang, consistently aligning values across the value chain is a challenge. Could you tell us how can product quality be optimized with process and IRIs, and what accuracy and IRIs offers?
Okay. When talking about variation in terms of nutritive quality, we can divide feed ingredients into two categories, high and low variations. Low variation category refers to feedstuff like corn, wheat, and soybean meal, while high variation often refers to byproducts or unconventional ingredients like rice bran, DDGS, etc. Nutritive variation comes from many factors, from genetics, growing condition, processing, and transportation, etc. Even for the low variation category, there are still considerable variation, not only their approximate composition, but also their digestibility, such as AME and DAA values. Traditional wet chemistry analysis is costly and time-consuming, yet still it can't determine their actual AME and DAA values. So NIR technology, in contrast, can provide all important values in a few minutes, non-destructive. So feed producers can apply NIR to collect nutritive values of each truckload of raw materials to determine next step of these materials in terms of storage and formulation. Regarding NIR prediction accuracy, modern NIRs are technologically advanced instruments. The accuracy will depend on the quality of database used. Today, well-calibrated NIR equations can well replace wet lab approximate analysis for advanced parameters like AME and DAA and available phosphorus. As Adiseo NIR database was built on hundreds of in vivo determinations, hence the prediction results closely follow their true values. We can confidently say that our NIR values are superior to book values, and the feed producers can slash their safety margin by half.
How are feed ingredients calibrated? And how often do we need to recalibrate an ingredient?
Yeah, firstly, we select and analyze a set of feedstuff samples. This sample set must represent the whole range of quality of this feedstuff in order to cover future unknown samples. This is to say that the sample set used to calibration must represent true variability. We can scan these samples on NIR instruments to collect their spectra, then conduct wet chemistry or in vivo evaluation following internationally recognized methods as reference values. We then match the analytical values with the NIR instrumental spectra to build calibrations or equations. The development of equations is done and validated by our NIR experts with sophisticated software using different mathematical methods such as partial least squares, the PLS regression or modified PLS, and principal component analysis, PCA regression. These are common ones. Naturally, the accuracy of NIR prediction is directly related to the accuracy of reference methods. So the sample representativeness and the wet chemistry methods will determine the quality and the reliability of the NIR calibration and prediction. Finally, monitoring the performance of a calibration and enrichment over time are also important as part of the process of NIR platform. And during NIR's analysis monitoring, if NIR's results continue to fall outside the control limit or exhibit many larger H values or MD values, so it is necessary to recalibrate with new sample population.
Could you tell us what factors cause an IRS result to continue to fall outside the control limit?
There are many possible factors. For example, new genetics, fresh habits, or changes of post-harvest storage, or processing conditions for byproducts, etc. Anyway, all these factors may cause the final prediction results to indicate these samples are not very well represented in the current NIR calibration database, and recalibration is required.
Dr. Zhang, using NIR technology has a high initial investment. How does this technology ensure cost efficiency for feed mills in the long run? And how is NIR maintenance performed?
Yes, the initial capital investment on NIR instrument is high, in the range of 50 to 70,000 USD. On the other hand, for wet chemistry analysis, the cost and the maintenance of various equipment, consumables, and qualified technicians are way above NIR instrument, not mentioning the cost of in vivo animal research facility. The cost of NIR investment is a fraction of wet chemistry in the long run. Once feed mill has reliable and robust calibrations, NIR systems can simply replace most of routine wet chemistry analysis. Moreover, with the speedy results, feed mill can take control on the ingredients quality, formulate diodes on true values, and monitor quality of its outgoing feeds, which save cost in a big way. NIR is an analytical instrument plus software. It does not require chemical reagents. Its maintenance is easy and not required frequently. While some brands of NIR are sensitive to environmental temperature, moisture, level of noise, and movements, other brands like FT-NIR can function well under feed mill environment. The general maintenance includes light source replacement after a few years and, of course, the cleaning workspace.
So you highly suggest feed mill invest in NIR technology?
Yes, NIR represents a modern advancement of feed and nutrition technology. I strongly suggest all feed mills to invest in NIR. Although it may cost a lot at the beginning, in the long run, NIR definitely helps a lot on procurement, QC, formulation, and also the cost saving.
Okay, let's move on. Most NIR's calibration available now are limited to major feed ingredients such as soybean meal, corn, and wheat. What ingredients are not suitable for analysis with NIR rice? And can NIR also be used to test the quality of finished feeds?
Yes, NIR technology can be used to predict all ingredients containing organic compounds, which cover nearly all feed ingredients, including some additives. Some ingredients like trace minerals containing inorganic substances that are not suitable for NIR prediction, as the substances do not absorb the NIR lights. Furthermore, NIR spectroscopy cannot predict compounds of very low concentration, say 0.1% is the detection limit. for NIR technology. And NIR can be used for quality control of certain finished feeds. In addition, we offer prediction for proximate, for layer, broiler, and swine feeds when their formulations are consistent. The users must take caution on finished feeds calibrations, as changes in formulations will lead to reduced prediction accuracy. For example, if a calibration set is based on corn soybean meal-based diodes, we cannot apply it to wheat soybean meal-based diodes. In such case, new analytical data are required to enrich the existing NIR calibration. So therefore, recalibration is required whenever new ingredients are used in formulation.
You mentioned that if calibration set is based on corn soybean meal-based diet, we cannot apply it to wheat soybean meal-based diet. So that means a calibration set for each sample is different.
Yes, NIR instruments NIR measures vibration of organic compounds, and composition of grain differs significantly in terms of chemistry and NIR absorption. Therefore, calibration set for each feed ingredient is unique. A good calibration set should represent the entire range of nutritive quality of the ingredient or feed sample type. If a calibration set is derived from corn soybean meal diet samples, it is good for corn soybean meal diet only. If one wishes to apply the calibration to feed containing significant of wheat, he needs to enrich the calibration set with data of wheat soybean meal diet samples. And due to the complexity of metrics and spectra, a large number of samples and data are required for such application.
You also mentioned that sample evaluation uses in vivo techniques. What about in vitro techniques?
Yes, people can build NIR calibration based on in vitro techniques to test any parameters of nutritional interest. For example, KOH solubility of a soybean meal sample that reflects the degree of heat process during the soybean meal processing, or protein digestibility by pepsin. Remember, NIR is a secondary measurement based on a pre-established database. It will require enormous time and resource to build a reliable and robust database to cover many feed ingredients. When high-quality in vivo database is available, especially for AME, DAA, and available phosphorus being the three most costly nutrients, I see practically no need to reinvest the will to invest time and money to build a database of less valuable.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zhang. Dr. Kevin, NIR's equipment is usually laboratory-based, loaded with appropriate calibrations. In the past few years, development in hardware have led to robust, smaller, portable, battery-operated equipment, allowing analysis to be carried out on-farm. What can the feed industry expect in the future?
Yes, we have seen the evolution of NIR instruments from the early graduate instrument that requires very strict working conditions to more robust FT-NIR and lately portable unit. We believe the application of portable unit is very limited to very basic parameters due to its detection capacity and the spectra transmission stability. With future development, I assume hand-sized device with more accurate calibrations is possible and could be used in the field to check advanced parameters of raw materials. Another area is inline or online NIR system, which is used to monitor feed raw material production, such as soybean meal, as well as a feed mixing process. We see large feed companies in Southeast Asia already testing inline NIR system to monitor feed processing lines. We believe This inline NIR system can provide instant feedback and help improve the mixing accuracy on real time.
Dr. Kevin, I'm curious, when did Adizio start developing NIR calibration?
In fact, ICCO has a very long history of providing services to the industry. I think Adizio was the earliest service provider in terms of NIR, because Adizio started NIR calibration development from the early 1990s. So now it's over 30 years to provide such services. We still keep advancing our technology and enrich our database by collecting samples from worldwide, and then from initial 500 samples now to more than many thousands of samples. And also we developed the digestible nutrients for corn, soybean meal, and wheat, now extended to DDGS as well. We will further enrich our database in the future, maybe to cover the net energy prediction. So we've been constantly investing and providing such services to our customers in the industry. And then we keep it free of charge. And this is, I think, it's quite unique to our industry. Thank you.
That's interesting. Thanks a lot for sharing your invaluable insight and experiences, Dr. Zhang and Dr. Kevin. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. And it's also our interest to share our knowledge and know-how and also our services to our audience. Thank you.
NIR offers end users insight into important nutrient parameters and assists them to meet their business goals. With the speedy results, feed mills can take control of their ingredients quality, formulating diets on true values, and monitor the quality of its outgoing feeds, which save costs in a big way. We hope you found this episode useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for joining us.